let's be honest, new cars have become ridiculously expensive. This Verna 1.5 turbo manual costs 19.5 lakh rupees. Rewind the clock just a decade ago and this is what you can get for literally half the price. And in the used car market, these cars come for what, 5-6 lakh rupees. This over here is a 2015 Hyundai Verna 1.4 diesel. And the funny thing is, this Verna can make the same amount of power as that thing over there, and I'm going to tell you how it does that. So this thing started out life as a base model Verna. It used to come with Steelies as wheels. The lights were completely different, and yeah, it looks pretty much still stock right now because the owner has upgraded to alloy wheels from a newer generation of Verna. But overall, it's still using more or less Hyundai parts. The headlights have also been upgraded. But let's talk about what actually matters, and that is what is going on underneath the hood. So underneath the hood lies a 1.4 turbocharged diesel engine. Stick. And yeah, this is the engine bay, and as you can see, it looks still pretty much stock. But the owner has done a lot of OEM Plus mods, which is a very new thing for Hyundai owners. You've heard this OEM Plus word going around in VW, Skodas and all of that stuff, but it is possible in other platforms as well, especially Hyundai. So this thing has a 1.4 liter turbocharged diesel engine. Stock, it used to make 90 HP, but now it makes roughly 150 horsepower and 320 Newton meters of torque, which is very impressive. And this is running the bigger turbo from the 1.6 liter turbocharged diesel engine that you used to get in the Verna. So this is more or less like putting a CR170 turbo or a CR140 turbo into a 1.5 TDI or a 1.6 TDI. Basically the same thing. And of course, for the turbo to run, they have had to do some small little changes here and there. Most prominent one is the catalytic converter had to be changed to the 1.6 liter catalytic converter, and after that, yeah, the car pretty much drives like it was stock. The one major difference is the turbo itself. The 1.4 liter turbo was a fixed geometry turbo, whereas this is a variable geometry turbo. So a lot of coding and a lot of small things here and there had to be changed for this to work, but it is still an OEM Plus mod. Cool thing about this whole build is that it is done DIY. The owner has done all of this stuff, including the lights, the turbo, the catalytic converter change, the wheels and everything. All has been done at home, including the tune. So the thing that makes this build super special is that the owner is doing the tuning himself. Like, he's gone out of his way, he's bought a KES and he's bought the Hyundai diagnostic system and everything, and he's doing this with full commitment, like the tune and everything. You know, he's going on to forums and, you know, just doing all the research necessary and doing it all by himself. Now, he is telling me that he is kind of contemplating on, you know, if he wants to get into the tuning scene or not. And if you have a Hyundai Verna, he's more than happy to, you know, like work on your car and do all of that stuff. So if you're interested in something like that, his tag will be somewhere here and you can definitely DM him on Instagram. Coming to the car itself, 150 horsepower and 320 Newton meters of torque. That is a decent amount for a 1.4 liter turbocharged diesel engine, and especially considering that the jump from 90 HP to 150 HP, that's a pretty impressive number. Now, the owner has done dyno runs and he's done a couple of draggy runs, so I'll be putting up screenshots of all of that right now. once you put your foot down, this thing moves. I mean, you get that initial surge of torque above 2000, 2500 RPM. Now, I'm not gonna lie, the car does feel pretty laggy, but I think that's very characterful. Like, I don't know why a lot of people like a very linear power band, maybe because it's a little bit more usable, but I like that old school feeling of turbo lag and then a punch of torque. That is just very enjoyable, and this car does it in that sort of way. Now, he's tried to put all of the power throughout the rev range, and maybe that's one of the reasons why the turbo hits so hard once you're in the top, because he wanted to give most of the power up top. So you can definitely feel that, like, once you're in the turbo's boost range, this thing just picks up and goes. And moreover, it makes a lot of really cool and funky sounds, which I was definitely not expecting, considering the fact that it's not running an intercooler, intake, or any crazy mods. It's basically a stock car with just an upgraded turbo, a tune, and a 1.6 liter turbo catalytic converter, and that's pretty much it. But I'm not sure if you can hear this. Sounds like a jet taking off. That's so cool. And yeah, it's still a manual, so you have the enjoyment of rowing through the gears and putting down the power on how you want to do it. And it's just so much fun to drive. The next thing that I would probably do is put some suspension, because it definitely needs it. It's not taking these corners too damn well. But the main usage of the owner is for this thing to be a mile muncher, and I'm pretty sure it'll serve that purpose very, very well. Moreover, if you compare it to the new Verna 1.5 turbo, yes, it makes the same amount of horsepower. In fact, this thing makes much more torque than the Hyundai Verna 1.5 turbo, and it'll of course be a hell lot of a more fuel efficient than a petrol car any day, any time of the week. So it's a win-win situation throughout if you think about it. Definitely it can make as much, or if not more, power than the new Verna 1.5 in its stock, guys. It's definitely more fuel efficient, and of course parts and all of that stuff will be cheaper, and of course there are less things inside to go wrong. I mean, I know this interior seems pretty boring, but if you think about it, I mean, what can go wrong? There's practically nothing, whereas the new Verna turbo has like ventilated seats, a crazy infotainment system, a lot of gizmos and gimmickry here and there, which probably over time might go wrong. But as you can see, this car is 10 years old, still going strong. Just before our day of filming the Verna, it had actually gone for its dyno runs, and it is now a properly dyno verified car that actually lives up to the claim numbers that the owner has shared. It did 152 horsepower and 360 Newton meters of torque on the Warp Division dyno. Kudos to the owner for building such a unique car at home. Such sort of a build is what we need in the car community to inspire more and more car enthusiasts. Now, a lot of people think that if you want to get into the tuning scene, you have to get a VW or a Skoda or a VAG product or some sort of a European car. But that's not true. I think so Hyundai over the years has started to become one of the more attainable tuner cars. They're pretty cheap to maintain, and you can also do a lot of OEM plus mods just like this car. And I think so this is a really, really cool platform. Because let's be honest, this is something that your dad is going to pass down to you, and you of course don't want to sell it immediately because you don't have the extra funds to get the next best thing. So why not make the best out of what you have? And this car is a really good testament to that statement. I mean, the thing is, Hyundai cars have started to show a lot of great aftermarket support over the years. And yes, right now, if you compare them to a VAG product, the aftermarket support won't be at the same level. You'll have to do a lot of custom stuff like custom plumbing for the intercooler, yada, yada, yada. But the thing is, they're slowly coming up to that sort of level. So if you get something like a Hyundai Verna diesel in your hands for a couple of years and you want to make the most of it, I think so this is one of the coolest ways to get that sort of thing done. So if you have something like a Hyundai Verna diesel in your hands, then this is one of the coolest ways to do it up. As you can see, it looks pretty much bone stock, but it is still as fast as the newer generation of Verna, Virtus and all of that. Makes more torque, and let's be honest, it's going to be much easier and much cheaper to maintain than all of these newer cars. So comment down below what you think of this really cool sleeper sort of build. Tell us in the comments down below if you would do something similar, and I'll catch you in the next one.